Welcome to the first video in the Guest Blogging Made Easy series, and this one's going to be an overview because it always helps to know roughly where you're going. The aim of guest blogging is to get your post or article on someone else's site. It really is as simple as that, and ideally that should be a high volume site, where high volume means that they've got a decent amount of traffic and a good amount of interaction, so that your post goes up, doesn't disappear immediately because there's so many guest posts, and that can happen on the really popular sites like Huffington Post and a few others. But you actually get a few Facebook likes, a few tweets, and also it builds up your credibility as an author, and all of those combine to make guest blogging, well, as an next bullet point says, a lot more selective than article sites. With article sites, they could be editors in control, such as sites like Easy in Articles. Articles Base it says it's got editors. I'm not 100% convinced whether it's editors or a computer control with a bit of editorial. Haven't really worked that one out. Easy in Articles, definitely editors. Other ones like Go Articles, pretty much it's computer based completely. As long as the thing passes a spam test, it's accepted. So article sites generally tend to be a lot less selective, but it's kind of where guest blogging's grown from, because it's the same principle. It's getting your post on someone else's site. There's also other similar sites where you're allowed to put your own content on, sites like Squidoo, Tumblr, even the blogs that WordPress host, although they all have their restrictions. Blogger's the same. You can put up posts, but they're on your own site, and you've got the authority of the main site, but you have to build it up. And guest blogging, as I said, is building on the authority of the main site, and it's generally perceived to give higher value links. We never know for sure on that, because obviously no one's privy to Google's highly secretive, highly trademarked algorithm. But as a general rule, because of the difficulty of getting a blog post published, it's certainly nowhere near as easy as publishing one on an article site. I've personally had one pending now for 2 weeks that would have been accepted by Easy in Articles very, very fast. Even as a novice author, I'd have got through before now. So it's pending, and I don't know whether it'll happen or not. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, well, okay, I'll post it somewhere else instead. I've got that on a couple of sites where, 2 weeks ago, posted off, high hopes, not heard a tweet back. Well, they might have tweeted me, but I never checked my Twitter feed, but I've not heard an email back or anything like that, so really don't know what's happening. So it's definitely more difficult to get a link, and as a general rule, Google knows that. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it can tell from its algorithm, because it's got so many sites to judge by. It can tell whether or not links go out to anyone and everyone, or whether they only go out to certain places. It also knows a fair bit about language, so it can work out the quality of the post. It knows whether anyone else has published it, all sorts of different things. So generally speaking, they're higher value links. In theory, it's easy to find good places to post. In practice, it's not. When I say in theory, what everyone tells you to do is search for your niche and then put in quote marks guest blogging, or make a post, or guest post, or a few other search phrases. Then all you do in quote marks is go off and look at the terms and conditions, possibly write the article before you know whether or not it's going to be accepted, but definitely send an email, even with your title or whatever else it happens to be, and then wait. That's where in practice it's not as easy as you first thought of comes in, because the waiting game, as I've found, can be quite long, and you don't know, and it's not suspense, because you're thinking, well, you've almost forgotten you've even sent it off by the time that you might get a reply. Certainly if I haven't heard from these couple in a week or so's time, I'll assume they're not going to post. Could be wrong. It might just be they've got a long queue. There's been no communication whatsoever, and it's that kind of void that, especially in internet marketing terms, where we're used to things happening immediately, makes it awkward. There are also sites like Blogger LinkUp and a few others which attempt to basically glue bloggers together, and by that I mean they provide some kind of messaging system, bulletin board, contact system, whatever it happens to be. It varies by site. With Blogger Link Up, you get an email several times a week with potential places either that are looking for guest posts or that they've offered them. And what you have to do is actually go through and sift. So even with that, and I've been on the email list for ages, not actually currently successfully got a post done because I haven't raised the enthusiasm to do it. It sounds really bad saying that, but I'm sure I'm not alone. I find the emails themselves daunting from Blogger Link Up because they go into hundreds of lines, and I've got to search through for the topics I'm into. Then I've got to actually do the research on the sites. So it's definitely not as easy as it's first thought of. And that's actually a very good sign, because it comes back to generally perceived as giving higher value links. Yeah, because it's not as easy, it puts off a lot of people. The other thing you'll find out when you start to do guest posts is that they have to meet certain criteria and meet the blog's chosen style. Meeting certain criteria is usually they've got to be good, they've got to be informative, they've got to be things that you couldn't just research quickly on the web and find out. And quite often they have to meet the blog's particular style. As I said, as you research this, then you'll find that the chosen styles are many and varied. Some want it chatty, some want it controversial, some want it list style. There's all sorts of different chosen things. When I first started trying to not automate, but get it less manual, so production line kind of system, I suppose. When I first started this, I made the mistake of writing the articles first and then trying to find the blogs to fit the needs. In hindsight, I should have done it the other way around, because I've got some very good articles written for me using a site called iWriter that I use quite a lot, but they didn't meet the style that the blogs wanted. So I was back to square one, and what I did eventually was use them elsewhere, because excellent articles, but not for the blogs I found. And it's this last part. What I'm going to teach you on this course is pretty much a practice ground that you can use to build up experience in your guest blogging. It's what this course will teach. It's not a one for experienced guest bloggers, because you probably wouldn't use this technique at all, because you'd have built up your contacts. But certainly it's a very good beginner's ground. It's a nice halfway house between article sites and full-on really high-end guest blogging, and it's working in that my posts are getting published, they're getting accepted, partly because I'm paying a few dollars, $5 to be precise, on Fiverr. But I'll show you how I'm doing that, how I'm getting the posts written, how I'm narrowing down from the roughly 10,000 available sites that I could post on, find ones that are actually worthwhile. And then what's happening, not getting like oodles of traffic, but then I wasn't expecting that. But they're getting picked up in the various things that measure backlinks, so Ahrefs, Majestic SEO and so on, and they're getting indexed in Google, which means that they'll start counting towards pushing my blog up higher in the rankings, and I'm happy enough with that as an approach. It's what I've done with article writing, it's what I do with YouTube videos. Direct traffic is a bonus, but getting gradually higher up in the search engines for keywords is actually the main aim of this, and that's what I'm going to be teaching in the rest of the course. If you want to know more, click the link below the video, and that will take you off to a page where you'll be able to find out a lot more about this, so including buying the whole course, which will be quite affordable, so don't panic about that. Okay, I look forward to you joining me. Thanks very much.